and welcome to the Leen Show. Theoretically a comedy show. That's our new tagline. I don't know if you knew that. I didn't workshop that with you. But, like, on paper, hypothetically, you know, it is a comedy show. I don't know if we accomplish that goal every single time we record. But that is, like, the theoretical goal, right?
Yeah. 8 times out of 10, I would feel like it's a comedy show. 2 times out of 10, it just gets, like, dark and serious. And
It makes me laugh.
Mostly my fault for that, too.
It makes me laugh.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Does the dark stuff make you laugh too?
Yeah, every once in
I've
a
gotten
while.
that feedback as well.
Yeah, it does. It's a funny show.
Okay.
I laugh.
Cool. Well, we have our third guest ever, Mr. Sam Spangrud. I mean, what can you say about Sam Spangrud? I mean,
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
You know, we had a fan giveaway contest to see. You know, we did a sweepstakes to see who would be the third guest on the show, and Sam was the only entrant, but also the winner. So that's cool.
Huge.
Yeah, Sam. So
really thankful for that. Thank you guys for picking me out the hat.
No problem.
I was the only one in the hat, but
no problem. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
You're in the hot seat. How do you feel?
Feeling good, dude. Feeling ready. Feeling nervous.
You shouldn't be nervous.
yeah, don't be
I'll just talk for like 30 minutes straight at a certain point if you just.
I'll chime in here and there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's all I can ask for. So also you know, real listeners of the show might be familiar with Sam's work as Kathleen's husband, Pookie, if you will. They're not a fan of that pet name. I like it. That's not my cross to bear, though. You guys have been dating for, what, about 4 years now?
Yeah, 4 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
4 years this summer.
A little under 4 years? Yeah.
3.5, 4.
That's awesome.
Round up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Pensacola's power couple.
Right?
Yeah.
Some might
Even
say.
though you guys don't live here anymore. But
Some
like,
might say.
yeah. So that's cool.
Yep.
We got a great show for y'all today. We're recording at Kathleen's beautiful backyard here.
Yeah.
It's a little cold, but beggars can't be choosers. And if you guys are noticing on the YouTube, the camera quality is quite a bit better, is it not? I hope so, at least. I hope it looks better because we went from recording on like a $40 webcam to like a $600 camera.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Shout out to my parents for getting me a new camera that will hopefully be put to some good use.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
So thank you guys for watching and listening as always. I said the tagline, by the way, because I had a meeting with a business associate, maybe a future business associate. Shout out to Amy Palmer. You're the GOAT. Well, maybe not the GOAT. I don't know you that well, but like you're pretty cool. And she watched the pod and she really liked it, but her main feedback was she watched 2 episodes. One of them was the Reed episode.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know what the fuck that is, because we just kind of started immediately without like a setup or without like explaining what it is. It's like, is it a comedy show? Is it just like 3 friends hanging out? Is it like Pensacola-based gossip?
Right.
You know, like what is the show? And so I thought, theoretically, it's a comedy show.
Yeah.
So that would work, I think.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've never thought about that because it's like I assume the people that are listening are like this is actually a really interesting point just about podcasts in general. Like I assume that our listeners have like been with us from the beginning, right? So it's like they've been with us from like episode 1 to episode, what are we at, 25 today?
25, yes.
And so I'm like, oh, they know, like they've been with us from the beginning. They get our vibe. They understand what we're trying to do. But like, if you have to think about it, like some people might just play episode 24. So exactly, they're like, what the fuck? Like, what's the theme? You know?
And I guess the point would be like, it's one thing if you're in like the LA podcast scene and you're doing like gossip and whatever stuff in that environment.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, there's like hundreds of thousands of people that are like in on it. Like, oh my God, Bobby Lee and Rogan are having a beef or, you know, shit like that. But like this is like, I mean, it probably could not get more like micro than like the Pensacola community gossip and like who knows who, like Booker T. Washington high school social dynamics.
Yeah.
Which would probably be pretty hard to follow for probably 6.99 billion of the 7 billion people on Earth.
Yeah.
So,
Fair.
you know, if the goal is to have a broad appeal and if the goal is to have people from all across the country and the world, we did have a UK listener for a while. Unfortunately, she
moved.
She moved back.
she passed on back to Florida. So no longer we can no longer say we're an international affair. But again, beggars can't be choosers, you know? I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be recording with 2 of my really good friends on my off day. And we've got a great show for you today. So, you want You want to start with the Stanley Cups?
Yeah.
Do it.
So, the NHL season is going, and it's about halfway through, and I thought we'd just talk about who you think's going to win the Stanley Cup.
It's gonna be Vegas.
Kathleen? It's going to be Vegas?
Vegas Knights.
Okay.
Oh.
That wasn't really that funny. Sorry. It's a double. Okay. It's called the hockey, whatever. Stanley Cups. Stanley Cups, I'm sure you're all familiar. The handle, the 40-ounce thing. You know about
pastel colors.
Yeah, the pastel colors, the
blonde
lead.
girls.
That's they're most famous for now.
Yeah.
And I would say the thing that really blew up Stanley Cups, and I'll say this before we get into the controversy, is you guys know about like TikTok water or like water talk? You ever heard?
No.
You seen this stuff where I wish I had one of these planned, where essentially one of the reasons why Stanley's blew up so much is because people, like if you go to Target, there's like the mixed section, like powders.
Yeah.
If you ever look in those and you see like Skittles powder, like Sonic
Like the
coconut
water
water.
flavor?
Yes, like
Okay.
like flavored water.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, it's 0 sugar and it's healthy.
Right.
But it's like lime green and it's like government sludge, basically. That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what blew up Stanley Cups, was people who are just obsessed with these things would like fill it up with water and then use like different powders and stuff, and they'd create like mocktails basically inside their water.
Oh.
That's like the main way I think they blew up, because this is in the thank you. So it says this in the article. I'm gonna read a Times article about this about these concerns, and we're gonna hear from the CEO of Stanley. I don't think his name's Stanley, which is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that is
But
kind of messed up.
it's like Jersey Mike's CEO's name is like Steven or something. It is like, it's not Mike, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? But the Stanley. The product Stanley's been around for like 11 years, the company. In 2022, they did 75 million in sales, and in 2023, they did 750 million in sales.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
Quite the jump.
So quite a jump. So here's a Time article. Stanley responds, and like they say that like it's a guy,
Right.
which really does upset me, because I don't think his name is Stanley. So Stanley did not respond to this. The company did. Stanley Incorporated is what it should say. Stanley responds to concern its viral cups contain lead. Stanley Quencher cups are a viral sensation, becoming a must-have staple among social media influencers. The reusable 40-ounce, okay, we know that. But all that attention has also brought more scrutiny to the product. TikTok users and other social media influencers have been testing the tumblers for lead, with some claiming that the results showed lead was present in the cups. Lead can be harmful if ingested. Did you guys know that? That's crazy.
That is,
Yeah, I think
that
I
is
knew
That's a fun
crazy.
medical fact.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to just eat lead?
Well, like, you probably like, it used to be in the paint,
Maybe
right?
just like once a week for breakfast.
Yeah, just like a, like a health,
Yeah.
health supplement,
Right. Right.
like a something to.
Help me sleep at
It's a
night.
nootropic, actually,
Yeah.
lead.
Yeah.
But like the opposite of a nootropic. It helps you think worse, actually,
Right.
as opposed to better.
Yeah.
Lead can be harmful if ingested, particularly in children younger than 6, notes the CDC, adding that the effects of lead poisoning can be permanent and disabling.
Ooh.
Seems bad. In response to the concern, Stanley told NBC News that while they do use a lead pellet in the manufacturing process, in order to help insulate drinks from outside temperatures, it is covered by stainless steel. It would not be able to contaminate drinks unless the stainless steel barrier was removed, which the Stanley spokesperson told NBC was possible but rare. I just want to dwell on that. I want to let that one simmer for a little bit, all right?
Right.
So, essentially, he came out and said, Stanley, we're just going to call him Stanley.
Yeah. Okay.
Stanley came out and said, guys, what's the big deal here? Hey guys, it's pretty rare for someone to get lead poisoning from using our cups, all right? I mean, it's not like there's that many people using them,
Yeah.
right? What's the harm? So I guess that's one thing, where if you sell $750 million in cups, and then like a couple months later, it's like, well, yeah, some of them are going to get lead poisoning. I mean, we're not perfect, right?
Yeah.
This is for the 95% of people that won't get poisoned.
Right.
But it's almost like the CEO of McDonald's coming out and being like, guys, only like 5% of our hamburgers will give you diarrhea. It's like, guys, can we just chill? Like, what's the big deal? Hey, guys, no one's perfect. Like, we make a product for the masses.
Yeah.
Not for every single person, all right? Hey, you know what? Don't drink our Stanley Cups if you don't want lead poisoning.
Yeah.
What do you know? Speak on that, Kathleen. What do you think about that?
So I'm like curious. I'm like, what happened to like recall culture, right? Like, it's like we have cancel culture today, but like, what happened to like things getting recalled? It's like, oh, my 2007 Honda Pilot, 2% of the engines explode, so every single person that has a Honda Pilot has to take it to the shop and like make sure that it gets checked out.
Yes.
Like, what happened to that? Like, what happened to that age? Like, it's not, now we've gotten to the point where it's like people don't do anything about it anymore. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna recall it.
The company
like,
would probably
we're
go
not
under.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like...
Well, also, what is Stanley going to do with, like, 50 million lead cups, right?
Just gonna throw them away.
Just throw them away.
Just gonna get rid of them.
Yeah, just put them in a landfill.
Yeah.
That'll go well.
Bury him in the ground.
Yeah. Because, like, which is even funnier because, like, they're the environmentally friendly cups. Where it's like, oh, you don't need water bottles. You refill these.
Exactly.
And then that'd be a real twist if it's like, oh, fuck. Well, guys, we got to get rid of 50 million Stanley Cups. And these are not recyclable in any way.
Right, yeah.
So, sorry, guys. Didn't really help the environment, actually. Probably a net negative for the environment if that's how it goes, too.
Yeah, and it's like the production of them. Like, it's such a... Sure, you're not drinking the plastic water bottles, but, like, those Stanley Cups are fucking huge. They weigh, what, probably, like, 2 pounds each?
That's
like,
why they have the handle, because
Yeah.
the average American probably couldn't lift it without, the handle.
Yeah.
It's, like, a little too big for
It is
them.
absurdly big. Like, I feel like we almost need to touch on that. Like, Hydro Flask, and so... I feel like the evolution of this, like, all started with, like, you had the Swell water bottle that was, like, shaped like a wine bottle that was, like, okay, it'll hold ice forever, and it never did. They're like, it'll hold ice for 3 days. It never did. Then you have the Hydro Flask, and people, it's, like, all the TikToks about the girls people making fun of the girls going into their classroom, their Hydro Flask banging all around.
For sure.
Now you have these giant Stanley Cups. Like, they're absurdly big. Like, they really are absurdly big, and I almost feel like it's part of, like, the look. Like, it's not necessarily how much water that it holds. It's like, oh, like, I'm going to bleach my hair blonde. Like, I'm going to put on, my tight Lululemon leggings, and I'm going to walk into class with my Stanley Cup. And, like, that's just kind of the vibe. It's more it's about more than just water. It's about the look.
For sure. I totally agree. I think you are kind of erasing Yeti culture as well. Yeti had a moment there with the refillable cups, the big silver ones. Not really as stylish. They didn't really get in on the color game.
No, they didn't.
Not really the collab game,
Strictly silver.
Just strictly silver, because it was for men, right?
Yeah.
And men don't need frivy little colors. They need utility, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put my black coffee in a big cup, and I want it to stay warm until I get to the construction site. You know,
Yeah.
something for men, right? I will also say that this is a George Carlin joke I was gonna say earlier, but when did everyone get so thirsty, right? I thought you were gonna mention that, right? Again, not my joke, but like. It's like, when did everyone get so thirsty, right? I mean, back in the day, you drank water when you were thirsty.
Right.
Drinking water wasn't like a daily activity that you mark off as like you accomplished something.
Right.
By drinking like 64 ounces of water.
So that, I think you hit the nail on the head with 64 ounces of water. I think, and I don't know when this happened, but somebody somewhere came out and said, oh, you need to drink 64 ounces of water a day, right? Oh, you need to have eight glasses of 8 ounces of water a day to survive. No one knows who said that. No one knows if that's true. But, like, that was, like, the catalyst of people being like, holy shit, like, we need to drink more water. And we had a teacher in high school. I'm not going to say her name. But I remember, like, when water bottles got, like, banned at our high school because people were putting vodka in them. She was like, oh,
So
well,
cool they did that.
Back in the day, we didn't even drink water. You got 1 water break a day. We all went to the water fountain once a day. That's all we need. Like, that's all bullshit. You need 64 ounces of water a day? Like, that's bullshit. Like, that's not true. So I think that whoever came up with that statistic, whoever jumped out and said, hey, in order to survive, you need 64 ounces of water a day. Like, who knows? Maybe it was a young Stanley.
Oh, young Stanley. Wow. And then that was his claim to fame.
Yeah, but I think that statistic, whether it's true or not, is where the fad of all of these massive water bottles came from.
It could definitely be. I think it could also be big water. Big water. I mean,
Big
I
water
think
companies.
you don't think it exists, guys. Read the signs, all right? Read
Screw
between
Big
the lines a
Pharma.
little bit, all right? Free your mind, all right?
Right?
Free your mind a little bit. Why do they want us to drink so much water?
Are you woke on the water culture?
I mean, I'm not woke on the water culture.
Okay.
I'm just asking questions.
Okay.
I'm just asking questions, Like they act like if we don't drink 2 Stanley fulls of water a day that we're going to turn into SpongeBob and Sandy's house, right?
Yeah.
We're just going to dry up. Like we're going to just crack
Prune.
apart. Yeah.
Prune.
Yeah, I'm not into that, you know? I mean, I haven't drank water in 3 days. And I mean, do I feel 100% healthy? Like not really, but like I'm still here, right? I'm still talking. My heart's still beating. right? I still got blood in my system. I'm still a 25-year-old male. Guys, just, whenever you read a news article like this, ask yourself the question, what do they want me to think about this? All right? What is the end goal for Big Water here? And the goal is to drink more water.
Holy shit.
I'm just,
God, sorry, that was hilarious.
That was a good one.
Okay, yeah.
That was a good one.
But no, there's a lot of people that I think people would be surprised at how many people in the world really don't drink water. Like, water isn't a part of their normal routine. Like, they don't
Some not by
feel-
choice, but I get what you're saying.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a water drinker until I got a water bottle.
Yeah,
But
you weren't. Yeah. I turned you
It
into a water
really, it really did
person.
help become more of a frequent water drinker. Getting the hydro flask, but the Stanley Cups. Not about the lead.
I get that. Yeah, you were ahead of the game in that, actually.
Yeah.
This is a great way, by the way, for like, spouses or like friends or whatever to be like, well, I didn't buy you the Stanley Cup because it has lead in it, Darlene.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, Darlene, I know you love Stanley
Hey,
Cups.
Pookie.
And you see all the Pookie, you want a Stanley Cup, but I'm telling you, there's lead in those bitches. I'm telling you, Pookie, you would not look absolutely fire with lead poisoning.
Oh my god.
It's not a good look for you, Pookie.
Pookie,
Not
you're
a
not
good
going to
look
fit
for
in
you.
that dress if you got lead poisoning.
Oh man.
So you do or don't want to do the accounting jokes?
I mean, we can if it comes in naturally. If we need some filler, we can, but we
Right.
don't have to make a whole thing out of it.
Right. Okay, so we got a new segment we're doing here today. It's called 40 Best Accounting Jokes that we can find on the internet. Because Sam here is an accountant. He is a registered CPA. Is that right?
That is not true.
Okay, never mind. I don't really know much about accounting, as it turns out.
I have no CPA. Never wanted a CPA. I didn't even really know I was going to be an accountant.
Speak
until-
on CPAs.
Just
I don't really know what
explain,
that is
like,
actually.
You don't have to deep dive, but just explain what the difference between, like, why do you need your CPA? What's the difference between a CPA, accountant, and you?
Well, CPA, you have to like take a whole bunch of accounting classes through college. You have to pass a 4-part test, and then you're able to like audit other companies. Like you essentially have to also like work under a CPA for like X amount of years before you're officially like can like be your own CPA. You can't just like take the test and you're good. Like there's like a whole process of like being underneath one. Getting that experience from like an actual CPA, and as the time goes on. But I am just an internal accountant.
Right.
For enterprise.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
So you're not the CFO.
No CFO.
I was kind of confused about what your role was there.
Don't know if I'll ever make it to that CFO role. Not where
Hey,
I
don't
currently
sell
am,
yourself short.
But
Yeah.
not where I currently am, but maybe somewhere else. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't think I'm as qualified to be a CFO.
Okay. So the segment that we're gonna do right now is Kathleen's gonna read some accounting jokes, and then I'm gonna try to guess the punchline, and if mine's better, then I get a point.
Okay.
I don't really know what the points do, but I get a point. So you give a setup, and then I give a punchline. Again, I don't know much about accounting, so this is maybe a little out of my wheelhouse, but I like to challenge myself.
All right.
So we'll see how this goes.
Okay, I'm gonna do the one from earlier, so you can have a home run. Right
I like
away.
that. Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Sam. Why do accountants seem to lead happy lives?
I don't know.
Because they're always excelling.
Close. Because they are able to achieve balance most of the time.
Okay.
This was better.
Yikes. I'm gonna go Lee's.
Lee's
I'm
better.
gonna go
Okay,
Lee's.
that's 1 point.
Yeah,
That's 1 point
that's
for
a
Lee.
tough joke.
So every time I get a point, I'm gonna take a sip of this Budweiser right here. That's what I've just decided my reward is. So.
Sam, why did the accountant have to leave his meeting early?
I have no idea.
He needed a pee-pee, as in a pee-pee.
I don't get it.
Okay.
I'm really racking my brain for Excel knowledge right now. I was like cells, formulas, A, B, C, D.
Yeah,
I was really
that
trying
one didn't
there.
quite register.
What's an accountant's favorite profanity?
Okay, this is a bad segment.
Yeah.
I don't have much here.
I don't know.
I'm trying.
Sheet.
God.
Sheet.
All right, this is dead. We're killing the
Sheet.
segment. Like
God.
sheet, like an Excel sheet.
God. That's
All right, accountants are
pretty
boring.
cool.
Your job's
Yeah.
That's
stupid.
pretty
Nobody
cool.
cares. We're moving on.
those are some rough jokes.
It said the 40 best accounting jokes, so.
So there's
Yeah.
37 more of those.
Yeah.
So were those in reverse order? Were those the worst of the 40?
Those were
Would
the
they
bottom
get better
40,
as you went on?
40, 39, 38.
We need to round up all the accountants and run them all past them and see what they
Okay.
think.
Okay.
Yeah, that was rough. That was a rough joke.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
That
It's
is
the
not-
internet, not you. Yikes.
Oof,
Alright.
that was not a great segment, guys.
Terrible segment.
That's not good. That's not good. We got to be better. You know what? I'm gonna take accountability for that one. I think that was on me.
Yikes. I do appreciate the effort to try and tie in the accountant, but
Your job's too boring.
I mean, yeah, that's what all the jokes, all the TV jokes growing up. All you hear is how boring accounting is.
Yeah. Accounting jokes and lawyer jokes.
Is the work boring? But do I work at a cool company?
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'd
That's
say
great.
so.
Yeah.
I say they make it worth it. They make it worth my while.
Should we keep talking about Sam being an accountant? So Sam,
It's gone really well so far. I think we
So
should probably
Sam-
keep talking about accounting.
what's your favorite part about being an accountant?
That's good, actually. Let's do that.
Yeah.
My favorite part about being an accountant.
What's your favorite part about working in Excel for 8 hours a
Yeah.
day?
Your pits and your peaks of being an accountant.
Oh, Pitt.
Yeah. What's your pit?
Probably all the work that not involving accounting, because there's
Okay.
a lot of that. There's a lot of non-accounting work that I do, filler work. It's not the best in the world, but
Well, aren't you? Isn't even accounting technically filler work? Like you're filling in Excel cells.
no, there's some stuff that's actually interesting. You know, it's actually finding trends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that's up your alley, like I guess it's up my wheel alley. I enjoy that kind of stuff.
That's good. Trends.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I'll write that down.
Trends. Oh, God.
That's great corporate speak right there. Where it's like, what are some of your hobbies outside of work? It's like, well, I'm a big fan of following trends.
Just
You know,
gotta-
I'm a big fan of problem solving. You know, critical thinking exercises and trend following.
And trend finding.
Trend finding,
That's what
trend
he
following.
said.
Yeah.
trend finding. You gotta
I
find
like to find
trends. You know,
trends.
you gotta help out your people.
That's
what I'm trying
good.
to do.
No,
I'm trying
that's
to
good.
help out my people by identifying these trends. What can we do better? How can we improve? And it all comes down.
These
to,
are all great.
It all
hard-hitting
comes down
questions.
to what?
Mhm.
Excel. It's the moral of the story.
I'm like, note to self.
What would you do without Microsoft Excel?
I wouldn't be an accountant.
You wouldn't be an accountant. What would you be doing if Bill Gates never invented Microsoft Excel? Which that's not probably how it happened, but we'll go with that. Probably some other guy actually made it.
Yeah,
but
I'd probably be like an NBA player or something.
NBA player.
Yeah.
Okay. What team would you like to play on?
Probably like the Shanghai Sharks.
Shanghai Sharks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you don't really. So you're an NBA player who flamed out of the NBA and is now playing in China. That's in your dream, in your wildest of wild dreams, you flame out of the NBA and become a star in China.
Yeah.
Shout out Jimmer Fredette.
Shout out him. Shout out Dwight Howard. All these guys balling.
Well, that's
over in
Taiwan,
China.
which is not China, and that's really fucked up. You just said that. That's really fucked up. You just said that. They would not like that very much.
Potato,
You
potato.
might get blackballed from the Chinese league if you acknowledge
Well,
Taiwan.
then I can go to Taiwan instead, and then be like Dwight Howard.
That's true. Yeah, you sure can.
Shout out Dwight.
Shout out Dwight. Shout out Stephon Marbury. All the American Chinese. Shout out Aaron Brooks. All the NBA Chinese legends.
Shout out the Sharks, dude.
Shout out Yao Ming.
Yeah,
He was too good for the Chinese, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I could be
So-
like Yao Ming. I see myself as a Yao Ming counterpart, adjacent.
That would probably work really well in like a job interview. It's like, I see myself as like the Yao Ming of this office. I'm gonna be here for 7 years.
Break my feet 5
Yeah,
times.
I'm gonna be here for 7 years. I'm gonna have one injury, and then you'll never see me again. I'm just gonna disappear after like 7 of the best Excel years you've ever seen in your life.
And then make it to the NBA Hall of Fame.
yeah,
Good life.
yeah, very good life.
good
Is
life.
there an accounting Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's in St. Louis, Missouri.
Why is it in St. Louis?
Home of accounting.
Wait, is that true?
No.
Why would St. Louis be the home of accounting? Is there like a curve joke there? Like they got like the bend or whatever.
Yeah, it's all about the arc.
The arc.
The peak,
Yeah.
the peak of the arc, the peak of your accounting seat.
Okay.
You land in St. Louis.
Okay.
I'm like, note to self, never invite an accountant on the show again. We've learned our lesson. All the accounting content.
I think
you
we're.
guys,
I
you
think
guys
we're.
started this accounting content. I'm just here.
We're really making the best of this, though, aren't
No,
we?
just
Like,
kidding.
we really are. As far as like, this is probably the most glamorized accounting has ever been.
Yeah, totally.
Right. It's like this, and then like in Parks and Rec, when Ben just shows up at the accounting office and makes like the most like milk toast normal jokes, and they all think he's like Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yeah.
They all think he's like George Carlin, like he's the funniest guy who's ever existed. Actually, I'm like kind of mad at myself that I didn't write this down as a story because this is very interesting. But we'll just start with the article. This is on ABC News. Fake explicit Taylor Swift images. White House is, quote, alarmed. That's not good. Millions came across fake sexually explicit AI-generated images of Taylor Swift on social media this week, underscoring for many the need to regulate potential nefarious uses of AI technology. The White House press secretary told ABC News Friday that they are, quote, alarmed by what happened to Swift online and that Congress, quote, should take legislative action. While social media companies make their own independent decisions about content management, we believe that they have an important role to play in enforcing their own rules to prevent the spread of misinformation and non-consensual intimate imagery of real people. So we'll read a little bit more of the article later if we need to, but basically what happened is, I mean, if you guys have really been, I would say just like in the sports world for sure with me, but just in general, AI image creation technology became pretty open source. I would say maybe about a year ago, maybe a little less, maybe I'd say 6 months to a year ago, where it got like really, really good.
Yeah.
And so what you see, and most of it is not really that nefarious, but really what you see is like if, you know, like one that I think of is like the Scoot Henderson ones. I know you've seen that.
Yeah.
So Scoot Henderson is an NBA player who was drafted like number 3 overall. And he's like not really that good. Sorry, Scoot. But like he's had some, and he might be, I don't know. But nice. I say this to say like on Twitter, like NBA Twitter, like the NBA subsect of Twitter, they always post these like AI pictures of him like actually just shitting his shorts. Like there's like he's wearing his jersey and then like the back of his jersey is just like covered in shit. Like he's like shitting himself. Or like one of them is like he's on like a motorcycle and he's like shitting and farting, but he's being propelled by like his like brown, like a shit cloud behind him, which is funny, right? That is funny.
That is funny.
That's just the example I thought of because it was funny. But like you see this all the time where they'll create AI pictures of, you know, like a player, you know, playing really poorly, a player who's really good, and he's like on like a throne, right, or something like that.
Yes.
And those aren't really that nefarious. It's basically just using technology that's out there. But the thing is, these platforms that you make these pictures on, they don't have any moderation. Like they don't really have like a moral compass. You can just make pretty much whatever you put in.
They're not like regulated. Not
at all regulated. And so what happened is there were a lot of Chiefs hate during the playoffs this year in the NFL. A lot of Chiefs hate, a lot of Taylor Swift hate, really throughout the season and in the postseason as they keep winning. And there was one guy, as far as I understand, there's one guy named ZV Bear on Twitter. It's got like 80,000 followers or something. Just a tweeter.
Yeah.
Just doing it for the love of the game, right? This guy created AI images of Taylor like getting gangbanged by Chiefs fans. It's kind of fucked up.
It's like disturbing.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
And Taylor is almost so big at this point that you don't really see her as a human being.
Right.
And it's almost like and I bet a lot of people make the argument like she's so rich and famous, why would she care about this AI picture of her on the internet?
Sure.
Which doesn't really excuse how fucked up it actually is.
Right.
It's just an easy out to be like, well, I'm just making a joke.
Yeah.
But it's really, like, we've never faced really anything like this in human history because nothing like this has ever even being close to have existed. And it's just really crazy. And I don't know what's going to come of it. Taylor Swift is threatening legal action against Twitter and the guy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, how do you think that would play out in a prison cell? If you go to, like, a state penitentiary and you're with, like, a guy that's like, yeah, I robbed a bank. Yeah, I whatever, assaulted a guy, battery. What did you do? I spent $8 on an AI program and created pictures of Taylor Swift getting fucked by Chiefs fans.
Well, that's the thing is
How do you think that's going to play out?
It's like, because I'm pretty sure I've seen this with ChatGPT where it's like a version of ChatGPT where it's like, oh, like you can say, hey, I want you to make me a logo that has a Florida State University Seminole on it, that has bold font, that has, you know, pink flowers and like a monkey on it. And like it'll just generate the image for you. So like I'm guessing like that's what I'm not saying they use ChatGPT.
That's pretty much yes.
But
yeah,
like that's
keywords.
that's how you do it. Is like you literally like type in like something horrible, like, you know, take Taylor Swift and have her in a gangbang with Chiefs fan. Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, like there's no regulation.
No, it's real. Yeah, and it's it's like one of the slipperiest slopes you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Like, man, is it slippery because the power that you possess doing this, and also totally everything we just said, but the main thing also is I feel like I'm pretty good at figuring out what's AI and what's not.
Yeah.
Right.
But my God, like, have you ever seen video? There's like these TikToks have gone viral like the last like couple months I've seen where like people show like their grandparents videos of just like GTA and they just tell them it's the news and they're like, oh my God, oh that you see that car flip? Oh my God, that guy just assaulted that guy. Like they think it's the news.
No, I haven't
and
seen
they
it.
have no idea that that's just a video game. They have no idea video games are even that realistic, let alone AI. So just especially with voice AI too, where like voice AI has gotten pretty fucking good actually.
Insanely good.
It's like pretty damn close now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be at a point where the technology is really almost there, but like a year or two from now, you will have to like defend in court you saying or not saying or doing or not doing something that you either definitely did or definitely didn't do, but there's going to be AI pictures of the contrary.
Yeah.
And you have to be like, no, I didn't like assault this guy. And it's like, well, here's an AI generated picture of you punching him in the face.
Yeah. Or
Right?
like when Kim K like spliced the phone call together or whatever, like using Taylor's voice or whatever, like edited the phone call sort of thing.
Yeah.
But now it's like that. It's like, and it's like, think about it. If like someone that's so in the public eye, like Kim Kardashian, would do something like that, like imagine what the normals are gonna do with AI.
Yeah.
Like literally imagine what the normals are gonna do.
Well, this is what they do.
Yeah.
This is what the normals
No,
do.
this is perfectly. It's a perfect example. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just read a little bit more of the article. Just last week, Representative Joe Morell renewed a push to pass a bill that would make non-consensual sharing of digitally altered explicit images a federal crime with jail time and fines. Quote, we're certainly hopeful that Taylor Swift news will help spark momentum and grow support for our bill, which, as you know, would address her exact situation with both criminal and civil penalties. That's not good.
Wait, read the first part of it again about the bill.
The quote or the line before it?
The quote, like what the bills, what bill they're trying to pass.
It's a bill. Representative Joe Morell renewed a push to pass a bill that would make non-consensual sharing of digitally altered explicit images a federal crime.
Okay.
With jail times and with jail time and fines, which I guess is like what you would have to do. But the problem is, it's just such like. How do you regulate that?
Yeah.
Like, that's such a gray area to say. And I think that's why it's so hard is because I think from this, like, yes, like, it was like a Twitter guy, ZV Bear, I think I said that, who, like, made these images.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he should spend, like, 30 years in jail.
Right.
But at the same time, like, he shouldn't just, like, walk free and be like, no consequences. Like, yeah, that's totally fine. You did that.
Yeah.
It's got to be somewhere in between. Maybe he just, like, gets – maybe he just, like – maybe he just, like, gets banned from social media for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Like, he gets, like geo-locked or, like, anything – they all – like, you know, everyone – the government and the tech companies, they know who's using what products.
Right.
Yeah.
If they just ban him from using social media.
Right.
That might be, like, an apt punishment, but I don't know. But it's going to be such a slippery slope because basically if they do this, especially reactionarily, just because it happened to Taylor Swift, then you're going to have all these judges and all these random states and counties around the country trying to interpret that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just going to be very interesting to see how that plays out.
I also think it's interesting too, like when you think about like famous people, like I think one of the biggest things that people deal with, like celebrities deal with, is like obviously like uber crazy, like uber obsessed fans. Like, so it's like you think of like the classic like TV show or movie that depicts like a crazy fan that has like pictures of Taylor Swift printed out like all over their room, or they have like a dress up doll that looks like Taylor Swift. But this is like, theoretically you could have like pictures of yourself like made with Taylor Swift. Like you could literally have like, and it's like that is a really, really scary thing because there's no way to know who's doing that. So it's like if you're a celebrity and like you have tons of pictures of yourself out on the internet that people can download and use and upload to AI, or that AI is basically like using to like leverage into what they're going to produce, people can essentially create pictures of you doing literally anything. Yeah. And there's no way for you to know. There's no way, like, it's just like, this is going to like, uber fans, like crazy fans, are going to be like obsessed with this technology because think about what they're going to be able to do with it. And like that's freaking scary.
Yeah, it'll be
gross.
like in The Office when Michael like puts himself in like what's her name's
Carol, yeah.
And Carol's like family pictures.
Yeah.
But like in the modern day, it would be Michael generates AI pictures of them as a family.
Exactly.
And it probably looks like way more realistic.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, wow, that looks like super real, but that didn't actually happen.
Oh, me and Sam. So whenever this, like, actually, like, circling back to when we were like, oh, like, when did this become a big thing? Me and Sam paid. What was it? Was it $10.99?
Yeah, like $10.
$9.99. So we both paid. Like, we did that package whenever it went viral last year, where it was like you pay $10 and it gives you like that package of AI generated whatever.
Right.
So I was like a fairy. I was like a
it's
warrior.
Upload a couple like selfies of yourself, and it
Yeah.
just like generates like.
Yeah, Sam
50
was like a
pictures of
race car
you.
driver.
Makes
Sam
you
was a
look
wizard.
insane.
Sam was a
Nice.
Jesus. Like, and we were
Nice.
dying laughing. Like, they were hilarious, but they were also pretty realistic.
Yeah, they were. Some of them were really good.
Yeah.
The main thing, like, there's a couple, like, AI is still not perfect, and I think that's like the main, just like a PSA, I guess. If you don't like really know how to tell the difference, AI is really bad with backgrounds, like specifically with like background faces, where if you, let's say, generate like there's a picture I'm thinking of right now, like one of the first like really good AI pictures I saw of just like a coffee shop, and it's like, this is a coffee shop in San Francisco, and it's like 50 people all with like laptops, like doing coding or writing screenplays or doing
Right.
whatever. And if you like just look at the picture, the wide shot, it looks almost perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then you zoom in and like people's faces are like really distorted.
Yeah.
Even in like one of the Taylor Swift pictures that they're talking about here, like there's, as far as I understand, there's one that's like really, really, really bad, and there's one that's still pretty bad but like doesn't show everything. And even in the one that doesn't show everything, it's basically like a bunch of Chiefs fans like surrounding her like on a football field, and like their jerseys are like distorted, and it doesn't even look really real. Like their faces, they look like abstract paintings
Yeah.
almost. So it's not perfect, but I mean, like specifically like certain celebrities, it is like almost perfect with,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
Taylor.
I mean, going back to like the AI voice generated, I've seen on TikTok like Juice World died 3-4 years ago.
Oh, like
people
it's
just
him like covering "Hey There, Delilah."
Yeah,
or
people just
something.
like will write
Yeah.
a song or like cover a song and then like put his voice, and it sounds like damn near identical to
God,
like
that's
what
such a
he
slippery slope.
to like what he
Yeah.
actually sounded like. That like
That's so-
him and Drake collab, and it's like, dude, is this song real? And it's like, no, fully
Damn.
AI.
Or
like,
the Drake and Weeknd song.
right,
blew
that
up.
was what it was.
Yeah.
Drake and Weekend,
Yeah.
Drake and Weekend,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
like,
not to like go down this like rabbit hole, but like it's really interesting to think like, what is this gonna do for like dead singers? Like, are they gonna write new Beatles songs now? Like you know what I mean? Like, is Jerry Garcia gonna pop up again? Like, what are like is that gonna
Oh
become
no,
a
I
thing?
hope not.
Dude. Sorry.
Well,
Just
I
start
mean,
throwing hands out here, but like, are we gonna hit that point though?
yes,
yeah, I
we
think
might
so.
already be there, to be
Holy
honest.
shit.
I mean, like 10 years ago, they made a hologram of Tupac to do a show at Coachella.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
And like that technology was probably barely there at that time.
Yeah.
Let alone if they decide to do that now. Like, yeah, 100%. Because it's gonna depend on the language in the contracts of musicians of the past. Because like their estates and their labels, or like who was their label or anything. Because they're definitely, I mean, most certainly not language written in their contracts to be like, well, we own your AI imagery, we own
Yeah,
your voice,
yeah.
right? It could be, it could not be.
Sure.
But if it's not, like that's not clarified in some label, and I'm sure labels are doing this right now, where they're like, okay, who do we have, right? And they're just finding dead artists, and they're like, we own Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
We own Whitney Houston's
Dude,
voice.
you read my mind. I was thinking Whitney Houston.
I was just thinking of like really famous celebrities from a time past that are dead.
Yeah.
That you could do this with.
Yeah.
Maybe like Tina Turner.
yeah,
right?
Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Michael
yeah.
Jackson, Tupac. You know, and again, and it could get like, you know, like XXX, Juice
Freddie
WRLD, like
Mercury.
you said, Freddie Mercury. You
Damn.
can go on and on, but it's going to be a discussion where whoever owns their estates are probably going to have to like have legal battles with labels for them to be like, no, you can't just make a new Beatles song.
Right.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Even though you could like get a group of musicians together to create like what would be a new Beatles song, and then just use Paul McCartney's vocals or
Right.
Lennon's vocals.
So you
Right.
see like a 5-second snippet of like them singing any song, and you can just alter that into make any song ever. Is that all it takes? Does anyone know?
I mean, it would be like, I mean, are you saying like you just have to like create a song and then you can just with a couple tweaks just add Paul McCartney singing that
No,
song?
he's
Is that what you're
saying like all you need is like 5 seconds of the
like, a
original
snippet.
singer's voice
Yeah.
in order to do the AI thing. Like how much of their voice do you need for it to be good?
The more the better. That's why
Right.
like I think like Rogan's AI stuff is so good because there's literally thousands of hours of him
Yeah.
talking.
Right.
Right.
And so like if you uploaded like this show, it would be like a little bit. But imagine it would be like if AI tried to recreate Sam just from this episode.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have like that much to go off of.
Good
So the
point.
way you say certain words or the way that you do certain things isn't going to be fully accurate.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, like Rogan, I mean, he's just he's wearing like some skin tight muscle shirt. He's just sitting there
Like for 2100 episodes.
talking about the woke mob. Like AI, I mean, are you telling me AI right now could not produce like a 1-to-1 perfect recreation of him saying the woke mind virus?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
they could
sure.
because he said it like 50,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Let's
they
say,
can
yeah,
recreate
yeah.
it perfectly.
That's
Same thing
crazy.
with like the Beatles or like the Rolling Stones or anything like that. Where I mean, the Beatles don't have like a shit ton of music, but they have enough.
Yeah, plenty.
I mean, they only have like a handful of albums.
Right.
It's not like a band that has like 10,000 songs.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But regardless, that'll be an interesting thing to watch going forward. All right, so I think we're gonna wrap this up. This was a great episode. Sam, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for
It's
having
really
me.
great.
Thanks for the accounting talk.
You're welcome. That was riveting.
I think, guys, Kathleen, I think we found our second viral clip.
Yeah, I
I
think so
mean,
too.
Accounting talk. That's
riveting.
So
Who
riveting.
doesn't want to listen?
That was
It's
so
so
good.
funny. Like, I think this is the last thing. I think it just goes to show like my personality. Like I'm just like a blind optimist. But I was like, oh yeah, we'll have Sam on the show. We'll just talk about how he's an accountant. That'll be a great segment.
An hour-long
You
deep
could've-
dive
great
into
content.
Microsoft Excel formulas.
You
I'm
could've-
sorry,
you could've
sorry.
watched any
And-
show
and
show
guys,
about accounting and that would not.
If you don't know Sam, he is a 3D multifaceted individual. He is more than an accountant. He likes music, he likes sports, he likes TV. He's a great guy. So he's more than a number cruncher. So
It's true.
Thank you.
Yeah, this, I mean, you're basically like Ben Affleck in that movie, right? The Accountant. You ever seen that one? That's got to be a big hit amongst y'all, no? That's got to be like, well, of course everyone's seen The Accountant. You guys just like citing scenes over and over again.
Speaking of that, when I was interviewed, that was the last question. Round three, they said, okay, final question to make or break. Have you seen The Accountant? And I said no. They said, well,
How'd you get the job then?
exactly. I had to go watch it the very next day.
That's good at least.
haven't
At least you still got the job. That's good. Well, thank you guys for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. If you're listening on Spotify, please consider giving us 5 stars. And thank you to Glazed Eyes for letting us use their single Way Down as our intro-outro song on Spotify. Sam, thanks for coming on again.
Thanks,
Any final thoughts, guys?
no.
Thoughts.
No thoughts. Go Chiefs. See ya.
Peace.